Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 Mods Weekly, episode 52. This is the series where we take a look at some of the really interesting mods that have come out during the week, and boy, we have had a busy week. There's been a bunch of cool releases, and so we've got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it with the very first mod of this video, and that's going to be the Enclave Power Armor by Newermind43, Captain Ultima, and DJ Save. Now, as you know, Newermind43 and Captain Ultima make some really cool power armor mods, and this one is no different. This is going to be a recreation of the Enclave power armor from Fallout 76. Now you can get it in Fallout 4, and this thing looks absolutely insane. It's super cool. Honestly, I much prefer the design of this one compared to the XO1 in Fallout 4. I know they're not intended to be the same sets of power armor, I just really like the aesthetic of this one a lot more. The only reason I bring up the XO1 is that these two are going to be about the most equivalent compared to the other vanilla power armors in terms of stats. The Enclave power armor has much higher stats than the T60, so this is definitely something you're going to want to hunt down immediately if you are a power armor user. And hunting it down isn't exactly too difficult. There is a brand new location known as the Enclave Hidden Bunker, and you can find it just north of the Boston Airport and just south of the Robco Sales and Services building. You'll then find a master lock door, simply get inside and you will be in the new Enclave bunker location, and this place is pretty neat. A lot of times with power armor mods there will be a single set of power armor hidden at the end of either a small dungeon or just a hidden away area, but this one's a bit different. This is a proper functioning little Enclave hideout that has a full set of the power armor as well as a couple of sets that are being worked on, and if you look around the little workshop you will even find more pieces for those sets of power armor. So you're not just going to get one set here, you're going to get multiple. That way you can give it to your companions or settlers or whomever. Additionally, if you search around this place you may even find a newly added weapon, which is going to be the Enclave plasma rifle. Functionally this thing's pretty much the same as the vanilla plasma rifle, but it does have a nice little Enclave skin on it, so it is worth picking up as a little bit of a collectible, especially if you're running an Enclave character. At the end of the day though, this is a really nice set of power armor, especially if you're an Enclave fan. This is really cool and some excellent quality work by Newermind43, Captain Ultima, and DJ Save. I highly recommend picking this one up. This is a great one to add to your load order, especially if you like adding in some really cool new sets of power armor. Moving on though, we're going to check out a new weapon mod, and that's going to be the jury-rigged Anti-Materiel rifle by Pig. This is going to add a new scrap handmade 50 caliber alternative to Fallout 4. In the vanilla game, the only 50 caliber option we have is the hunting rifle. There isn't even a dedicated 50 cal weapon, and this mod is going to fix that. By default, this weapon is chambered in 50 caliber. It is a scrap weapon, but it is built pretty sturdy. It takes a little bit of a design from the AK-50 by Brandon Herrera, and it makes for a pretty cool scrap-looking sniper rifle. At its core, this is going to be a really small rifle, but with modifications, you can turn it into a pretty sizable sniper, and you can do some cool stuff to it. And if you're not a fan of 50 and you don't think that 50 caliber would last in this thing, you can actually chamber it down to 308 with proper magazines that actually fit the rounds. A nice little bit of attention to detail by Pig. One thing to watch out for this mod though is that it is added to the leveled list, so you need to be careful as there will now be raiders with their hands on 50 caliber, and this thing is in semi-auto, so they're going to be shooting it at you relatively fast. Pig's been making a whole lot of junky scrap weapons for Fallout 4, and if you're into those, this is definitely another one that you should add to your load order, and it's available for not only PC but Xbox as well. So if you're a fan of handmade weapons, I definitely recommend picking this one up. There's not a whole lot of handmade sniper rifles out there, so this one's pretty cool. Moving on, we have not only another weapon, but an entire weapon pack, and that's going to be the classic melee pack by HcGxGrill and TheFriedturkey. We covered this one not too long ago on the channel. This is going to be a huge pack full of melee weapons from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and if you somehow haven't seen this mod, I'd highly recommend checking it out. I'm always a fan of big weapon packs, as you do get a lot of bang for your buck. From just one mod, you get a bunch of really cool weapons, and all of these are added to the leveled list, so it's really going to flesh out the melee diversity amongst raiders. Not to mention, every weapon in this pack is super lore friendly, as they've all been recreated from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and they keep their old style in mind. And you get some really cool choices in this mod. With this mod installed, you'll be able to get your hands on the following weapons: the Fallout 3 style baseball bat, the Ripper, the shish kebab, the chainsaw, cattle prod, Chinese officer sword, the kitchen knife, katana, 9-iron golf club, and two unique weapons, the Gehenna and Nuka Breaker. Now all of those standard weapons are added to the leveled list, but the two uniques you'll actually have to go find out in the world. Additionally, you can buy all of these weapons from vendors as well. Now, while I was reading those, if you heard a few melee weapons that sound awfully familiar, i.e. ones that are already in Fallout 4, they're going to have their classic styles, and they're going to spawn alongside the Fallout 4 version. So that's going to add even more variety to your leveled list. So no longer are you going to find the same baseball bat every time, it could be the Fallout 3 style. Same goes for the Ripper, Shish Kebab, etc. This is a really cool melee pack, and I highly recommend grabbing this if you're running a lore-friendly load order. A lot of these weapons should have been in the game in the first place, and honestly, they're just really well made. So pick these ones up, super cool, and a lot of these even have weapon modifications over at the weapons workbench, so there's really no reason not to download this one. Up next, have you ever wanted to see somebody kill a man with a squirt gun? Well, it's probably not likely because it doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. But you can try with the next mod, and that's going to be the 6th Messenger's Flame Rifle. Now, this is a highly customizable new flamer of sorts. It's held much like a rifle, but essentially what it boils down to is a nice little compact flamethrower with a ton of customization. You can have this thing as a pistol or a rifle, you can have it fire like the classic flamer, or you can have it fire ranged projectiles that still do incendiary damage. And you can even convert what kind of weapon this thing is. You can have it be a standard flamer, or like I said earlier, you could have it be a squirt gun. Yeah, you could have it shoot water that does next to no damage, but if you're persistent enough, maybe you could take down an enemy with it. And then finally, you can even have this thing shoot out acid, and that is a pretty high damaging projectile. I was testing it on some raiders, and that thing packed quite a punch, so this makes for a really cool new type of weapon. The flamer in the base game is pretty decent, but this one honestly outperforms it by quite a bit, without feeling too overpowered. It just feels a lot more versatile, you can use it at range, and there's just so many customization options that you can really tweak it to your playstyle. Especially being able to convert this to have things like acid, it definitely beats out the Super Soaker weapon from the Nuka World DLC. This is honestly just a really cool new weapon with a lot of options. And like I said, squirt gun for those of you who just want to have a little bit of fun. What's really funny about this weapon too is that the 6th Messenger actually wrote a bit of lore as to how this weapon came to be and why there is a squirt gun variant. This was actually initially a toy by Wilson Atama Toys known as the Squirt Blaster, but it proved to be a bit stronger than the standard squirt gun, hence why it actually does do damage to people, even though it is pretty minor. And so it didn't really last as a proper toy on the market, and eventually became a weapon sold by Wilson Weaponistics as the Light Flamer. Being able to shoot out a pretty constant stream of liquid, it was really easy to adapt this thing into a sort of flamethrower by making it shoot out fuel and having it ignite it at the end. And now that means we get some pretty cool squirt gun skins for our flamers if you so please. Either way, really cool gun, and honestly this thing's just a lot of fun and way more interesting than the standard vanilla flamer. Highly recommend trying this one out. It's available for not only PC but Xbox as well, and this is just a whole lot of fun and a nice little energy weapon. And then finally, for those of you who stuck around to the end, we're going to talk about the shoulder-mounted machine gun by me. In case somehow this is your first time seeing it, which I think is unlikely, I've already covered it once on the channel, and I've been covering it as I've been making it, but just in case you haven't seen it, the shoulder-mounted machine gun is going to be a newly added heavy weapon into Fallout 4, designed off of the Browning M2, converted to be fired from the shoulder, so it's not something you're going to need power armor to equip. That being said, it is really, really heavy, but it packs quite a punch. It is chambered in 50 caliber, and you're able to shoot those 50 caliber rounds out pretty fast compared to all of the vanilla alternatives. And each of those rounds is going to do a lot of damage, but keep in mind, you're going to be burning through one of the most expensive calibers in the game, and also this weapon is very heavy, and it has a pretty lengthy reload with a pretty small magazine size, so there are some trade-offs for that really high damage. This is definitely intended to be a late game weapon, as it doesn't start spawning in the world until level 30, and when it does, it spawns on raider bosses and gunner bosses, so it's pretty uncommon to find this thing. But keep that in mind, it will be shooting back at you sometimes. This weapon was a whole lot of fun to make, and now I'm glad that it's finally complete and ready for you guys to check out. It's available for PC already, and the Xbox Core is coming very, very soon, so stay tuned for that if you're an Xbox user and you're waiting for this thing to come out. Alright, now really quick, I do want to say what my next mod project is going to be now that the shoulder-mounted machine gun is complete. But first, I just want to say, big shout out to all my patrons for supporting this channel every single day. You guys are awesome. If you're at all interested in supporting my work beyond YouTube, I do have a Patreon. There you can get early access to my mods, as well as special Discord roles and a couple other things. Speaking of which, you'll also get sneak peeks to my future mods, and it's time to announce what the next mod I'm working on is. And that's going to be a new lever action shotgun. I have a whole lot of weapons on my plate. I know a lot of you want the Disruptor and the Mangler, and I even talked about a sort of a laser revolver, but I do have a side project that I've been meaning to work on for a very long time, which is a handmade lever action shotgun, and I figured now's the time to do it. It already has a lot of progress made, and I wanted to try some new skills and learning how to do stuff a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Hopefully I will have something very, very soon to show you guys. I'm going to be working on the models a whole lot after this video goes up. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully I'll have something to show you. With that though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace!